Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, the king is dead. Long live the king. Papa Wemba, the late Congolese rumba superstar, is accompanied to his final resting place by thousands of fans and well-wishers. His farewell mass and funeral attracts huge crowds in Kinshasa. Also, on the week that Cameroon's leader meets with his Nigerian counterpart in Abuja to discuss the pushback against Boko Haram, in Yaounde, activists working on the ground raise awareness of the victims of the insurgents' cross-border attacks. And Nigeria recently made history by becoming the first sub-Saharan African nation to manage a foreign satellite. It's now the first country on the continent competing as a major international player in space technology. Our team has a peek at ground control. Well, DR Congo has bid a final goodbye to its rumba king. Thousands of people turned out to Papa Wemba's funeral on Wednesday. The 66-year-old passed away in April. His career put him at the heart of the continent's music scene for decades, and he died after collapsing on stage during a concert in Ivory Coast.
The king is dead. Long live the king. A last goodbye to their idol. Thousands attended Papa Wemba's farewell mass in Notre Dame of Congo Cathedral on Wednesday.
I'm extremely sad because when he was alive, we didn't realise what we had. Every day his songs are always there, and now we realise that he really influenced young Africans. His music really taught us about life. It's not music we hear in all the parties, but it resounds in every car, every house, every iPad.
Everyone then made the final journey with him to the cemetery where he was laid to rest. Thousands wanting to say a last goodbye to the Congolese music icon.
This is the fruit of his success. It's because he did a good job. Because he was a very humane person. He's a child of the people. He's a self-made man. He started from nothing. He built his career by his strength of will. It's not just anyone who can do that.
For those here and for Papa Wemba's fans around the world, though he is gone, his legacy will live on through all his songs.
Cameroon's president headed to Nigeria this week to discuss security with his counterpart there. This 1 week ahead of a regional security summit due to be held in Abuja, in which the battle against Boko Haram insurgents will be more widely discussed. The Nigerian extremists have ramped up cross-border attacks, and Cameroon's northwest has been repeatedly targeted. Activists there have unveiled a banner in honour of 1,265 victims of the violence.
A banner to commemorate all Boko Haram victims under the title Let's Not Forget Them. They want these deaths to be recorded as human lives and not merely as statistics.
The youngest victim was 4 days old, and the oldest was 87 years old. We managed to gather 1,200 names. These are not the only victims in Cameroon, but we managed to gather enough information on those ones so that they can be identified accurately.
The objective is to inform citizens about a war taking place far away from the capital.
We're really happy that our military forces have taken up arms against that.
In Yaounde's military hospital, soldiers injured in the war reveal how tough the battle is. Special forces fighting on the border of Nigeria come here regularly to comfort their troops.
Our hearts are with you. Even if you don't see us, we're there finishing the war you started.
700 soldiers are treated here. Many amputees have been injured by landmines.
We had 3 severely injured men, and 1 died in the explosion.
These amputees will not go back to the front line, but they are proud to have successfully protected the borders of Cameroon. They know they won't be the last victims of war. Experts say the war is far from over.
This is a non-conventional war, and even if we defeat the enemy, nobody will come to sign a peace treaty. Also, you know that this war against Boko Haram has another ugly face, the terrorist attacks, and nobody knows for certain if they'll ever stop.
The situation is still fragile in Cameroon. After Ouagadougou and Abidjan, everybody's expecting Yaounde to be the next target for suicide bombings.
Human Rights Watch have called for an investigation into reports of a mass grave containing 120 bodies found in central Mozambique last week. Farmers in the Gorongosa region say that they made the discovery in a former mine. Now, the area has been a hotspot of rising tensions between government forces and the Renamo rebel group. It fought a 16-year war against the state that ended in 1992 before it became an opposition party. Now, Renamo's claimed its members are often targeted by security services. The site has been cordoned off by government forces who say they haven't found the alleged grave.
We have created a commission which went to the area in question. We found no proof and didn't locate the alleged mass grave whose existence had been claimed. We weren't able to find it or identify and speak with the supposed farmers who could have shown us the place or given us explanations.
Well, members of the opposition Economic Freedom Fighters Party were forcibly removed from Parliament in South Africa on Wednesday after they tried to prevent President Jacob Zuma from speaking. The chaotic scenes didn't stop Zuma's address, which focused on plans to overhaul the stagnating economy. The EFF are particularly up in arms as Zuma's come in for harsh criticism from the opposition and even from within his own party over recent court orders against him. That includes a ruling last week overturning a long-standing decision to drop almost 800 corruption charges against the leader. Africa's only sport doping test centre has been temporarily shut down by the World Anti-Doping Agency. WADA has temporarily suspended the accreditation of the site in Bloemfontein, giving it 5 months to update its facilities. Bosses at the University of Free State say they worked with WADA as it came to its decision because an upgrade wouldn't be possible alongside the day-to-day work of testing athletes' samples. The body's cracking down amidst a spate of international doping scandals. Last month, the accreditation of labs in Beijing and Lisbon were also suspended. That of one in Moscow was revoked amidst allegations of corruption. Now, Nigeria recently made history by becoming the first sub-Saharan African nation to manage a European satellite. Nigerian aerospace scientists are now monitoring the Belarus-owned Belintosat 1. That means over the next 15 years, Nigeria will be able to provide broadband and communications to 36 African countries. Our correspondents took a peek at ground control in Abuja.
Belarusian aerospace scientists are visiting NIGCOMSAT headquarters to get a fuller understanding of how their Nigerian counterparts monitor the Belintosat 1 satellite.
For monitoring?
Yes, for monitoring, but we're also offering internet services through it. Yeah, we use it for dual purposes now. These are your antennas for the SMS services.
Nigeria's decade-long journey into aerospace has reached new frontiers.
Nigeria made history because we competed among the big players in the industry in the world, internationally. I know that other big countries from Western Europe also bid for this project, but we succeeded because we were determined to do it. And I know that it has changed NIGCOMSAT for good and forever.
Belarus is a relative newcomer in the field of aerospace. Like several countries, including Nigeria, Belarus relies on Chinese expertise. For the director of NIGCOMSAT, the skies above Africa are filled with opportunities.
The first step is, one, we could, as NIGCOMSAT, cooperate with Belintosat to use it as backup for some of our existing customers, and of course, take it also jointly, use the satellite to provide services in all the other countries that the footprint covers.
Staff are working on plans to launch 2 new satellites in the next 5 years. The launch of NIGCOMSAT 1 a decade ago helped spur a telecoms revolution here in Nigeria.
Well, that's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for joining us, and please do so again if you can. Take care.